when it comes to the kingpins, we should not treat them like the way we would treat, Highlands who are involved in this galamsey and all of that. These are the people who are funding it. These are the people who are financing it. These are the people who are causing us to be where we are today, where water treatment plants are shut down, where renal diseases are on the increase and all of that. If people get to know that in Ghana, when you come and you're engaged in galamsey and you arrest even our own, we give them 25 years and 15,000 penalty units. People would then start realizing that, we can't be joking with this.
Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yupo.
Chairman Wontumi and Akonta Mining Limited, particularly the legal reasoning underpinning the decision. Now, they talk about corporate veil concerns. They question the trial court's decision to pierce Akonta Mining Limited's corporate veil and hold Chairman Wontumi personally liable, arguing that such a remedy should only be applied in exceptional circumstances. So, as we do know, this Akonta Mining Limited, a separate legal entity, can be tried and also tried. In fact, this particular development, they say, to the extent that this happened, in their view, this is not an exceptional circumstance that the court will want to pierce Akonta Mining Limited's corporate veil and go on to hold the owner of the company, Chairman Wontumi, personally liable for the crimes of the company as a separate legal entity. 3, they talk about alleged denial of fair trial rights. They say the statement contains that the judgment was delivered in the absence of Chairman Wontumi's lead counsel. Because, as you do know, that Samala Tachia, who is the new lead counsel for Chairman Wontumi after Andy Apiakobi decided to just leave and also, focus on other cases that Chairman Wontumi is involved in. Chairman Wontumi went in for Samala Tachia. This morning, we received notice that he was out of the jurisdiction and was preying on the courts to, as it were, refer to matters of some constitutional interpretation before this judgment was delivered. Well, the trial judge did not take that and decided to go ahead and deliver judgment today. Well, the minority says, to the extent that Wontumi's lawyers, that's Samuel Atacha, was out of the jurisdiction, out of the country, in their view, it borders on a matter of a denial of the constitutional right to counsel of choice and a fair hearing under Article 19 of the Constitution. Now, they also talk about refusal to refer constitutional questions to the Supreme Court, that the trial judge wrongly declined to refer constitutional issues to the Supreme Court under Article 130, thereby assuming jurisdiction reserved exclusively for the Supreme Court. Right? The fifth matter that the minority raises is the reliance on judicial precedent. They cite cases such as ex parte Dr. Zenato Ajima-Rawlings and the Chachuchikata case to argue that the trial court's approach constituted a jurisdictional error capable of vitiating the proceedings, essentially questioning the trial court's jurisdiction to hear this particular matter, especially because of the questions of constitutional interpretation that Samuel Atacha was asking for in this earlier today, that particular notice that he put out, including the fact that he was not out in the jurisdiction to represent his client in court. And then the sixth point they raise is a commitment to accountability and rule of law. They stress that the minority supports the prosecution of illegal mining, but also rejects immunity based on political affiliation. They are also insisting that prosecutions must comply with constitutional safeguards. And then they talk on the matter of selective justice, and that some persons, they say, the same speed or vigor, creating the perception of unequal enforcement of the law, broader constitutional and democratic implications that they talk about, as well as calls for institutional action. And they are urging the Attorney General to disclose the status of comparable investigations, calling on the Court of Appeal to rigorously examine the appeal and ask the judiciary to reaffirm the proper threshold for constitutional referrals, and then political position and commitment. In fact, It is a long one, that a number of issues that they touch on. They're actually ending by saying that Wontumi, in their view, is a political prisoner. That is what is captured in here. Their political position. The minority, they're expressing solidarity with the chairman and the MPP, pledges to pursue all lawful constitutional avenues to challenge the judgment. They conclude by describing Chairman Wontumi as a political prisoner. This description of Chairman Wontumi as a political prisoner is not just by the minority alone. The NPP as well at the press conference earlier today used this particular expression. That Chairman Wontumi is a political prisoner. We're going to be hearing from them shortly in that press conference earlier today. But you petitioned the CID in 2022 regarding the activities of Akonta mining in the Tano Nimri forest. Now, that's a case that's running. That has not been determined yet by the courts. This is the Samre Boy case, which is one of three cases Chairman Wontumi is having to answer for. How does this 20-year jail term and some fines handed down to him earlier today get to you?
Well, so thank you very much. You see, for me, my whole philosophy behind how we handle these issues of Galamsey is to look at the gravity of the situation. Lawyer Akufu talks about the fact that these Galamseyers are virtually coming to murder us. And so when there's somebody attempting to murder you, what do? You defend yourself. If anybody is accused of murder now of one person, we'll all be screaming that the person, should be, now we've abolished the death sentence, but we should be giving the person life imprisonment, isn't it? And so when you have the situation where you have kingpins who are the root cause of Galamsey, that, if you don't get them off, you will not be able to eradicate Galamsey. Then when you arrest any of these kingpins and you are sanctioning them, the law talks about the fact that the maximum the sentence could either be 10 to 15,000 penalty units or 15 to 25 years jail term or both. For me, for all kingpins that should be arrested, they should be given 15,000 penalty units and 25 years in prison, so that it serves as a deterrent for these kingpins who are facilitating Galamsey, who without them, Galamsey would be no more. So for me, in as much as I'm happy that this case, again, based on the evidence of it, the issues around facilitating of Galamsey and this issue that we've been dealing with where people go in the name of reclamation of land and then go and do illegal mining, I am happy that in this particular instance, the case has gone to court and it's traveled the full hog, and then we have a judgment. The challenge I have is, where are the others who, the kingpins that His Excellency John Mahama promised that in 2024 that is going to be the focus? Where are the rest of them? We have had situations where if you take Professor Frimpong Boate's report, it's replete with other, kingpins and politically exposed persons. We've had the Attorney General of this current government who has asked EOCO to do some investigations. We are yet to get a report out of that. In October last year, when we met His Excellency the President, I asked that question. We promised we're going to get a report. We have not seen the report. We've heard, the Awin MP, for example, who's being accused by his traditional council of being involved in Galamsey, but he had said he's not, but it's the traditional council. Where is the investigation into that? We are not saying any of them are guilty, but where is the investigation into that? So...
Engineer, so you are expecting the maximum term of 25 years to be handed down, plus the fines, 15,000 plus the 15,000 penalty units. That's what we're expecting to be slapped on Chairman Wontumi.
Yes, to serve as a deterrent for all of these kingpins who are involved in it, so that the kingpins who are currently doing it will be walking the corridors of power, and in places of influence and all of that, will be shaking in their boots and would start withdrawing out of that. I was also hoping, that, it would send the signals to, foreigners who are coming into Ghana that if this is how we treat our own, then when you come, currently if you're going to Malaysia, I don't know whether they still do that, and they give you a visa, they stamp into your visa that if you come to Malaysia with drugs, it is death sentence. So you think anybody who gets the Malaysian passport visa would attempt to carry it. You know what it is that. So if people get to know that in Ghana, when you come and you're engaged in galamsey and you arrest even our own, we give them 25 years and 15,000 penalty units. People would then start realizing that, you know, we can't be joking with this. And so we need to send that deterrent.
But
to all of us.
You talk about this being a deterrent and that you're expecting a maximum term of 25 years. But the politics of things is at play right now. The NPP says with all of this, they see Chairman Wontumi as a political prisoner, Engineer Ashigbey.
Well, you see, unfortunately, that is what has happened in this our country, where you've had, you know, the situations where when issues happen to those who are in politics, then they quickly run under the cloak of, you know, politics. Alfred, if it were to happen to you and I, if we were both to be found guilty, you know, we would go in before anybody calls us. But we have allowed the politicians, and it's not only the MPP who's doing it, the NDC have done it in the past, you know, when things happen. You remember the issues of Kokua Anyido at the police headquarters that has caused this Joy FM reporter whose call is broken. You know, once you know, a politician is arrested, then we clamor around it and then we color it with partisanship. For me, I think that when crime has been committed, what we should do is to allow, you know, the case to go through its regular route. The only thing that also allows this to happen is that the current government in power should ensure that anybody whose ass is God is also taken through the same process with alacrity. And so we should not be seeing it that it's only because, again, as Honorable Minister Fuseni said it, the insurance for Mr. Buesiako has expired because his government has gone out of power. So we are waiting for others who are in power who are now perpetuating it for their licenses for their insurances to expire. No, we know this president has jailed, you know, their own before. So we're expecting that any person who's also named, and there are several people who are named. You remember, Alfred, I've spoken to you about the MP for our win, who was accused by his traditional authorities of being involved in galamsey, and he says it's not true. It is rather his chiefs who are involved in. We have not seen any investigation of that case. You know, we've seen the cases currently. There's a Richard, I think Richard Asante, and who has been named in the Busumche Lake. That, you know, there's some mining of some mountains there that the minister, the Ashanti regional minister, have named that he claims that he has a concession. We should by now be investigating this. Minerals Commission, EPA should tell us whether he has the permits to be able to do that. If he does not have it, we should quickly take him through the process. You know, there was a gentleman in Osino who was claimed to be a kingpin that had been arrested. You know, Alfred, we don't know what has happened to those kingpins. So it is important that when it comes to the kingpins, we should not treat them like the way we would treat, you know, Highlands who are involved in this galamsey and all of that. These are the people who are funding it. These are the people who are financing it. These are the people who are causing us to be where we are today, where water treatment plants are shut down, where renal diseases are on the increase and all of that. So we should be treating it with that level of seriousness.
And you talk about some of the other persons who have been mentioned or named. You remember that the Abanga and then also Joseph Yamin are under investigation by EOCO. At least that's what the Attorney General said to us. That statement that was issued sometime in July last year, July 15th last year. Yes. That's about a year ago. Yes. The Attorney General released a statement that the Abanga and Joseph Yamin have been referred to the Economic and Organized Crime Office for investigation for their alleged involvement in galamsey. Well, last week, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources was asked a question about this particular investigation and how far has that gone, and he answered it. So I want you to hold on, take a listen to him, because he says all of this was just rumor, but take a listen.
You know, those were allegations. I know for a fact that those allegations have not been proven, but I'll leave. He was asking about some NDC leaders that were cited for galamsey, and I'm saying those were allegations. I know for a fact that those investigations have not led to any concrete evidence of them engaging in any illegal acts, but I'm sure that the former
Engineer, so that's the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Emmanuel Kpebu. It says those are just allegations. As far as he's aware, he can state for a fact that these investigations have led to nothing. So that's the latest on Joseph Yamin and then Abanga, as far as we do know, based on what the minister has said.
Yes, but again, you saw the minister talks about the fact that you leave it for, the authorities that are involved. It was the Attorney General who commissioned it. So it would be great for the Attorney General to give us, his report to say, based on A, B, C, and D, this is what has happened, and those are the things that you require, that level of transparency so far as this is concerned, so that it does not seem as if it's because your government is not in power, that is why you are being prosecuted. I definitely can see the difference between the situation where people are being arrested, at particular places and allegations that have been passed. But again, so we would want that report to happen. There are several others, again, that have been mentioned. His Excellency, the President himself has said to us that he knows that some of his, people within his party are involved. Again, His Excellency is giving, security briefs. So again, what has happened to those who have been named in that, and what actions are being taken? Those are the things that would also, lay this thing to rest, that it will tell people that it does not matter whose ass is God. If you do, you'll be dealt with. There's a gentleman called Joshua currently in a community in the Bekwai district who is mining in one of these water, logged areas. And by the road. And again, he's claimed that it was under the responsible cooperative mining. I have checked with the head of that particular unit. He said he had not given any permits to anybody to go into such places. Again, this Joshua should be found out.
Right.
And, because, the thing that caused the community mining to fail was exactly things like this. So we need to get to that and make sure that we don't also let this responsible cooperative, which is an improved version of the community mining, which is a great initiative if implemented properly,
right,
will also suffer the same fate. And that person again, and what caused the community mining to fail was because politically exposed person took advantage of it. This Joshua, is he also a politically connected person? If he is, then let's also bring him to book.
Right. And I thank you so much, Engineer Ashigbey. Thank you for your thoughts on this latest development regarding Bernard Ntwi-Boasiako, Chairman Wontumi, and matters arising now. Thank you. Engineer Ashigbey is CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. He is the lead campaigner for the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Now, I just played to you what the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources said regarding Yakubu Abanga and then also Joseph Yamin. The NPP referred to this particular issue at the press conference earlier today. They also referred to the president's statement that is aware that some persons within are involved in illegal mining. And so they want the president to name those people. Those are the demands that the NPP is making. Also, not just the minority, but talking about the caucus in Parliament as well, had a few demands to make from the government. We'll get into all of that. But just follow me closely, because this particular case traveled a 9-month journey to today that the judgment was handed down, Chairman Wontumi. This is it. Right from 7th October 2025 to today, when the judge, Her Ladyship Justice Audrey Kokuvi-Tay, handed down a 20-year jail term with some fines on Chairman Wontumi. Bernard Ntwi-Boasiako is the High Court of Justice, Criminal Division 4. And this is it. These are the accused persons. Bernard Ntwi-Boasiako, 49 years, entrepreneur, owner, controlling director of Akonta Mining. Kwame Ntwi, co-shareholder, director of Akonta Mining. He is at large, never appeared, not tried on the charges. What is emerging is that this Kwame Ntwi probably may not even exist. Then there's a third accused, that's Akonta Mining Company Limited, incorporated 5th November 2010, object for mining and exploration as a registered concession owner or holder, also tried as a separate legal entity. You hear the minority pointing to the corporate veil that was pierced to have the owner, that's Enchibwe Siako, answer for the crimes of the company. The Republic, in fact, this is the prosecution, was led by Dr. Justice Adam Sremsai, Deputy Attorney General. For the first and third accused, Samuel Atachia took over from Andy Apiakubi, who stepped aside at some point regarding this particular case. But remember, there are 3 cases that Wontumi is having to answer for. This is just one of them. This Samurai Boy case. There is the Tano in Nimeri Forest case as well, which borders on matters of galamsey as well, or illegal mining, which I just referenced that in 2022, Engineer Ken Ashigbey, and then also Edem Senanu, Martin Kpebu, who's going to be joining us shortly, and Dr. Siedo did petition the CID of the Ghana Police Service to look into the activities of Akonta mining in the Tano in the Nimeri Forest. That's different from this Samurai Boy matter as well. That has not been determined as yet, or judgment has not been given on that matter too. But for the Exim Bank case, which is the Ghana Exim Bank case, as we do know, plea bargain has been entered into 30 million, is what is involved, 30 million cedis. And the Apiakubu is still a lawyer in that particular issue. These are the counts that Wontumi was indeed tried on. Assignment of mineral rights without ministerial approval, and also purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. And this is the background as we do have it. The police anti-galamsey operation between the 16th and 17th of April 2025 in the Samurai Boy Forest, that's in the Western region, arrested Michael Jedu, AC, and 28 others on Akonta Mining's concession. They were arrested on Akonta Mining's concession between that period of 16, 17 April 2025. 8 pump action guns, 1 single barreled gun, suspected gold, machetes, 310 cartridges, 4 motorbikes, 2 vehicles, 25 serviceable, plus 4 non-serviceable excavators, and 157,000 in cash were also seized. And investigations traced the mining arrangement to a verbal, and take note of this, a verbal permission by Chairman Wontumi given to Henry Okun in September 2024. Now, so this particular one, take note of this. This verbal permission is what you hear the MPP, for instance, say that, throughout the trial, the prosecution did not produce any document, any deed for that matter, of assignment that Chairman Wontumi gave to this gentleman, Henry Okum, to undertake illegal mining on that particular concession. And Chairman Wontumi also the view that he only told him to go and do reclamation, plant coconuts on that particular land. Well, I want us to hear from one person who is quite close to Chairman Wontumi, as a matter of fact. For those of you who watch the videos of any time Chairman Wontumi went to court, he was with him. I'm talking about Dr. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa. He is spokesperson for Chairman Wontumi's campaign. Bear in mind, he wants to lead the NPP as its national chairman. That's what he's been preparing for and campaigning already. And Dr. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa is joining us on the telephone right now for a conversation with what has happened to Chairman Wontumi, his preferred candidate to lead the NPP as its national chairman. For now, he's the Ashanti regional chairman of the
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.